Hey everyone, welcome back to Taking Back Monday. I am so excited that you decided to say goodbye to the Sunday scaries and hello to a new future of work. And I'm even more excited to introduce you to my new friend, Dr. Tajiri. Welcome. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Truly is an honor. I am so excited to dive into this conversation and just be able to impact and give some nuggets to your listeners, to your viewers, and just make this thing happen so that they can have the necessary tools that they need in order to progress in the workplace.
I can already tell from our pre-conversation back and forth that this is going to be a really great conversation. So everyone's really, really in for a treat. Longtime listeners will know one of my favorite questions to open the show with is about your origin story. So tell me, like, how did you get to this moment? What forged you into the leader that you are?
Wow. Well, I hope you guys have your tea, your coffee, whatever it is that your beverage of choice, because we are about to get into it. So, how, as you see my tag name, Workplace Wizard, how that came about. Wow. There's several different pieces that go along to it, but I'm going to give you the Cliff Notes version of how the Workplace Wizard came about. I was a part of an MLM for about 33 years and looking at different teams and how well some work that were doing exceptionally well, killing the game, exceeding the goals, just super duper, super duper, super duper powerful versus those that were mediocre, just barely getting by. And I was like, okay, there's something to this. What is it that those teams that are killing the game doing versus those that are not? And what I realized is that it was the relationships that they had amongst the team. Soft skills, I'm keen and huge on soft skills. So it was the relationships that they had built amongst them. And when you have that camaraderie, it's amazing how many mountains you can go over, how many valleys you can get through, how many rivers you can go over when you have that cohesiveness with your team members. So that was one place where I looked at it, and because the skills that I learned there were transferable, once I worked for a major airline, which is no longer in business. Let you know how long ago it is. The name of the airline was Continental. So it lets you know it's a long, long, long time ago. I worked in accounts payable department and I again, as I said, I took those skills over to, Continental because they were transferable, and working in the accounts payable department with reconciling the, um the credit card statements. Sometimes things don't always come across as we'd like for them to, electronically. They're not very clear or something is missing, something was hindering me from being able to complete that particular audit. So, because of the relationships that I built with the card holders, casual small talk conversation like, "Hey, you said that you guys were going out of town this weekend. How was the trip?" I'm not getting into, "Oh Lord, what was the divorce decree and what was the drama that was behind it?" I'm not getting that deep into their lives, but just the small talk. And whenever I would see them pass by, that conversation would begin, whether it be passing by my desk, passing by in the hallways or what have you. So once they saw my name, whether it be through email or through the caller ID, one, they knew why I was calling, because I was needing something, something was amiss. And when they saw my name, one, they either reply immediately to the email or in a timely manner, or they gave me what I needed in short, in a timely manner. And it was because of that relationship that I had built with them. And it was like, you know what? There's something to this about the power of relationships. And if I can put this in a different probably perspective for you or something to think about. So let's say that you have someone that's in your work environment that comes and asks you for a favor. Even if you've got a gazillion different things on your plate, you have a platter that is completely full. But because of the person that asked you for it, you'll figure out how to get it done just because of that relationship that you have with them versus someone that you don't really have a relationship with and they ask you something, then you'll do it because of your character, but the zeal will be gone. You won't have it, but you will get it done again because of your character. So that ties into, again, the relationships that you have with people and how people are receptive to you and how you're receptive to them. So it's all in the relationships for me, and your soft skills and your empathy and your compassion. I mean, just all of that just ties into the growth and the strength of teams. And from the teams, that leads to the bottom line, the longevity of the teams, the longevity of the people that stay within your organization. Because when it's all said and done, the bottom line is productivity and the monies that the company gets to make. So if you're able to keep what you already have and nurture that versus the turnover of having to reinvest in somebody with the training and what have you. If you're able to do that from jump, then you don't have to worry about that line item. It's already taken care of for you. So it's kind of like dating. You do what you did to get them, to keep them. You don't just get them and throw them by the wayside. You still have to continue to nurture that relationship. So that's how the workplace wizard came about. And I firmly believe, a little bit more caveat to that, firmly believe in teaching things simply so that it's not a hard, difficult concept or conversation to have. And I use childhood stories. So as a kid, The Wiz was my favorite story. Of course, it was a take on The Wizard of Oz. And I began to look at it now through my adult, mature eyes, that the leadership skills that Dorothy had to implement in order for her team, the Scarecrow, the Lion, and the Tin Man, that come from different pedigrees, different backgrounds, but they all have to work together in order to get to the goal of seeing The Wiz. So that's where all of that came about, and I just it stuck. The tag stuck, the workplace wizard. So that's what I do in helping organizations create a culture where people want to stay and not silently resign or resign altogether. I'm sure some of us have been in the place where we've just done enough to keep from getting fired, or we've seen somebody that does just enough to keep from getting fired. So I help change that organizational culture, because when it's all said and done, people don't always leave because of the money. It's because of the environment and the leadership. So let's change that so that you don't have people going through that revolving door.
I like that you talked about putting things in simple terms, right? Because I think sometimes we as leaders get into this trap of I have to appear smart and well read and thoughtful. So I'm going to present things so that you think I'm smart and well read and thoughtful. And in reality, you're just making the people around you feel
Alienated.
like alienated. Like nobody wants to feel stupid. And we do this.
Mhm.
I have this conversation with people who work in sales with their customers. Like if your customers feel stupid or like they're not getting it, then they're not going to buy. If it's too
Yes.
complex that they can't understand what they're buying, then they're not going to buy your thing. And it doesn't
Absolutely.
make you look better. It just makes you look like a jerk.
Absolutely.
It doesn't need that.
Absolutely. 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 So that's me. I mean, think about how many times that we in corporate America have gone through some type of training, a lunch and learn or what have you. And most of the times it's just to check it off of the to-do list.
Mhm.
And once you leave those four walls, that environment or what have you, then whatever it was that they were training, unless you're really in tune to it, you're going to forget it. You're not going to do anything with it. So that's part of where the simplicity comes from. Because if you're going to go to training and the time is going to be spent in training and the money is going to be spent in training, let's do something with what it is that we have learned. So in the simplification, the simplicity of it, then now it's palatable. You can remember it, and then it becomes executable. So once you leave out of my environment, I'm giving you some tangible things that you can go and use and execute immediately. Or if it's something that may not be immediately, you've got it in your arsenal. So when it's time to shoot, you've got what you need. So that's me. That's how I think. I'm a little bit different as far as visionary. I'm outside of the box. I'm not structured within the box.
But like it's all rooted in science, right? There's a whole bunch of science to back up exactly what you're talking about. Like the idea that people consume and change their habits in small micro doses, right?
Mhm.
We don't make wholesale change as much as I would love to. Overnight on January 1st, I eat right, I go to the gym, I get enough sleep, I drink enough water, I give up alcohol for dry January. Those things don't happen all in one fell swoop. And every time I've tried it, because believe me, we've all tried that. We fail immediately because we're not looking at it as a bite size single step, to throw back to the whiz, a walk
Mhm.
down the yellow brick road,
Right.
right? We're trying to conquer that whole road all at once instead of doing
All at one
brick
time.
by
Mhm.
brick, right?
Mhm.
So when you're thinking about the clients that you've worked with before, the people that you've done your trainings or you've worked with them in some kind of consulting role, are there any like red flags where you're like, oh, this is not going to work? We are not going to make this happen because of this particular thing that's going on.
Wow. That's a simple yet loaded question. Because just like people, there are different personalities within the organization, which goes to the culture. There are different things that live within it, but probably the simplest thing, um, here I go back to simplicity. What stands out is the willingness not to want to learn, not to want to get different perspectives, stuck in a way of we've always done it this way, so why do I need to change? Or being resistant to the change because you don't immediately get it or immediately understand. I mean, nothing happens, as you alluded to earlier, overnight. Some things take time. Even if you look at the progression of the states, I mean, we were Stone Age, and then there was the industrial, and then we came to the technology side. So each of those phases, there was something that had to be learned as far as new skills so that you could progress and do whatever it is that you needed to do, whether it be personally or professionally. But there's a progression process with that.
I unfortunately, your answer is not uncommon. We hear a lot of times that businesses are unwilling to change for whatever reason. Longtime listeners of the podcast have heard this story before, but doing consulting for a big organization, they roll out a new top-down initiative. The executive level says, "Hey, we're going to do this new thing." Well, all of the individual contributors behind the scenes are saying, I'm not going to do that thing because if I just wait a few months, they'll have a new initiative and I won't have to learn anything new. I won't have to make any changes because my experience has told me that if I learn something new, I'll just have to change it in 3 months anyway. So I might as well just learn nothing new because they'll have a new thing that they're excited about. And we
Well, here's the
discovered that the problem was actually it was a decree for the individual contributors and the managers, but nobody above that was actually impacted. So they weren't driving it forward because for them, the VPs, well, the rules don't apply to them. So therefore, nobody wanted to have input or wanted to take on that new initiative because the rules didn't apply to anyone else and it wasn't going to stick.
So here's something else to think. Again, I told you I think a little differently. So just walk with me as we continue this conversation. Sometimes it's just like when you're in school, in secondary school, there's a prerequisite. So you've got to get this first before we can even move on to the next, because we know what the big picture is, what the ultimate goal is, but we can't just throw everything out to you at one time. We have to do this in stages. So if you are refusing to do this part of it, you're doing nothing but hindering yourself from what's to come next. You're going to be that much further behind. And if you're that much further behind, then you're going to be even more frustrated, more aggravated. I can't stand this job. I don't want to go into here. Why is my supervisor, my team leader, my manager, my director, whatever their title is that's above you, why are they having me do that? And you get the stubbornness, and that begins to build and breed a toxic workplace.
And it spreads right to other people on the team.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It taints. It tainted. And then, you get those water cooler talks and, well, did you see this? I mean, we've all been there. I don't think any of us
The
are
meeting
immune to
after
it.
the meeting, the
Yeah.
almost days, then we immediately like, get over go.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Or, hey, let's go to lunch together.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to lunch with you
Tea
before.
time for sure.
Exactly. I've never been to lunch with you, but apparently you picked up some of the things that I was picking up and in and on there. So hmm, let's compare notes, see if you got what I got. So it just again creates toxic workplace. And then you get once it starts spreading, then you see those people coming towards you, and it's like, I don't want that energy. I don't want to be around it. You want to do run, Forest, run, go in the
Right.
complete opposite
I'm
direction.
gonna duck in the break room. Oh, I have to go make some copies. I'm gonna go.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Or I've got to go to the bathroom or whatever it is, just an excuse to be able to not be in the space in the energy and receive that energy, which goes to another thing that I stand on is, are you an energy giver or are you an energy taker? Mhm. And when people see me come in, I'm very intentional about making them feel welcome when they enter my space. I don't want them to feel like, oh God, here she comes again. What is it that she wants? What does she need? I don't want that type of space because one, you never know where somebody is in their own personal journey. So I want it to be a little bit of light when they cross paths with me, whether it be that's the adrenaline shot that I needed to get through whatever this problem is that I'm having to deal with, or she's just good people all the way around. I want to know more about what it is that she does, how she does it. So again, being an energy giver versus an energy taker, because I don't want anybody to feel drained when they leave me.
No, and I mean, we've all experienced those people where you are just like, I need a whole like PTO day just to survive, the time that I spent with you. And I think that you have to be intentional about your energy. Some people are just naturally that way. Most of us are not. So how do we be intentional about the energy we give versus the energy we take? And how do we make sure that we are giving more than we take?
Is that rhetorical or you want an answer?
Rhetorical, but if you have an answer, give me all of your secrets. Tell me how I can do this.
Um, One, it's your environment with what you feed, what you watch, what you listen to, the people of like-minded. They say you are like the five closest people that are around you in your circle. So if they are all negative Nellies, guess what? You're going to be a negative Nelly. If they are, optimistic and, hey, we can do this, they've got plenty of, as they say, good vibes, good energy that's coming to you. mm, It's going to naturally come on to you. I mean, you can't not experience that and want to stay the same and be a negative Nelly. You're going to want to conform to that. So that's my opinion as to how that can be changed. I mean, like I said, it's in the music that you listen to, it's in the people that you surround yourself with. Even sometimes, even though I'm a news junkie, but it gets to the point where it's like, okay, I got to cut this foolishness off. Let me turn on some jazz so that I can get my mind right, whether gospel or a different genre of music or something, so that I can get back in my zone, in my comfort place, so that I can deliver authentically to whomever it is that I'm coming in contact with. So being cognizant of when your energy shifts, when your mood changes, and how do you combat that? So that's a lot of self-awareness and being able to identify that, which actually is a great segue to one of the things that I do. I promise you I didn't intend it this way, but just in a conversation, just again bringing up another point. So I told you I'm all about simplifying things. So you've got the Wiz with the leadership development on that side. That's the whole Oz experience. And then I've got mixture blended culture. And what I do there is I take candy. We all can relate to candy. We've had some type of candy throughout our lives, at least one piece
I
of
say
candy.
if you haven't, you live a very sad life. So yeah, we've all had our candy.
So, um, looking at different temperaments and different personalities, I identify them through candy. So it's easy to put a label on something And I believe that once you put a label on something and you can identify it and call it for what it is, then it's easier to deal with XYZ. So let's just hypothetically say, uh, oh, Red Hots, the candy Red Hots. So
Hmm.
you've got somebody on your team that is a firecracker and they are on it. They are gung ho. You say XYZ needs to be done. They're rah, rah, rah. I'm with you. So you can now say, oh, you're a red hot. Now, the flip side to that red hot is they're always going off. You know, something is always wrong or what have you. But when you see that personality, that temperament, you can now label it and know how to interact with it. So that again goes to the soft skills and the professional, the leadership development and understanding what's on your team so that you can work together, work on their strengths and being able to work together to accomplish the goals.
I resonate with that so much because if you sit here and pretend like everyone acts the same, everyone thinks the same, you're not going to effectively manage, lead, or understand your teammates, whether you're the leader or you're just a member of the team. Like if we know someone lives life big, they're red hot and everything is always at 112%, including the bad things, then how do we make sure that we create an environment where that person can still thrive, even though they are maybe a little spicy?
Right, exactly. Exactly. So, and like I said, different candies. Obviously by the name of them, I'm going to try and associate something with them or as far as a temperament with the specific name. But after you get done with my training and I go through all of this, now when you're at work or in your personal lives with family and friends, you can be like, oh, you a sweet tart. Oh,
Mhm.
you a double man. Oh, you're, you know, whatever, or even the gum extra. Oh, you just way too extra for me. You know, whatever the case may be, you can now say this is what that is. Just like
Mhm.
you can identify your colors, red, blue, green, purple, orange, black, white. You can identify it and know how that fits into your life, whether that is, since I'm just talking colors, you know, your color coordination or what have you, you now know what it is and to have that as a tool and know what to do with that when it's time to pull that tool out.
That's so smart and so easy and simple and simple to understand and implement. So I'm thank you for sharing that with us.
Yes, ma'am.
Thinking about all of the incredible people you've had a chance to meet or that you follow or that you listen to, who else should we be talking to? Who is leading the charge?
Oh, wow. There's so many people in my circle because again, I'm very strategic with the people that are in my circle because I know the growth and what my purpose is and my alignment and my gifts. So I'm real protective about my circle and who's in it. Um, one being my longtime girlfriend. I mean, we have known each other practically 53 years now. Yeah, I
Let
build
me just
when
say
I
you don't look old enough to know anyone for 53 years, let alone. Anyway, side note.
you. Thank you. See, that's that piece, and that's not doing that drama. All of that is what you see. Uh, but she's my rock. When I tell you, when we have conversations, um, it is okay, how can we do better in our businesses? How can we do better in life? What's your opinion about this, that, and the other? So needless to say, we have stories where we're going to the grave with. Um, we
Yeah, you
have
ride or
some
die,
stories
right?
we do have some stories that we can share with others, but she really is like an accountability partner to me and for me in life and in business. And her name, I'll give you her name as well. It is Ann Lawson. I wouldn't trade her for for the world. She's been super instrumental in who I am to this day. Um, and then even looking at my coaches, I'm in an amazing mastermind. Um, it's the name of it is traffic sales and profit because after all, that's what we do when we're in business. We are interested in traffic sales and profit. Lamar Tyler is just amazing. His business acumen and the way that he thinks about things, because he too is a visionary. So that's that like-mindedness. So I can understand a whole lot of where he's going and what he's doing So that has been instrumental in me, again, professional development and personal development. And anybody knows that is an entrepreneur, it is a personal development journey that never, never, never stops. You have to continue to grow. So off the top of my head, those would be the two people that I would equate to those that I would either continue to follow, continue to keep in my circle, to continue to stay connected with.
So if someone's really connecting with you, they want to learn more, where can they find you online?
Very simple. dr.tajiri.com. You can find all of my social media handles there. You can find out what the Workplace Wizard is up to. I do have some intensive trainings that I do. So you can just pretty much stay connected with me there, get on the waiting list. I do have a membership as well. And let me tell you, I love the concept of this because with my membership, I look at movies. I told you I think a little bit differently. Hence the Oz experience, the Wizard of Oz, and the Wiz. Looking at leadership through reels, REELS, and the membership is actually diving into movies
It's like a
and
book club
getting
but for movies, like a movie club.
up. That's it. You hit the nail on the head. And diving in and looking at the leadership lessons from the different movies. And we have deep, 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 deep conversations about that and the things and lessons that we can learn and take to our personal organizations to help us be better and greater leaders. So that's one thing that I'm really proud about. You can catch my books that are there, 3-time Amazon's bestseller. So it's a lot of information there. Find out who I am and how to follow me, dr-tajiri.com.
Hey, well, thanks for taking back Monday with me. This is a great conversation.
Thank you so very much.
Thanks for joining us on Taking Back Monday, where we say goodbye to the Sunday scaries and hello to meaningful and fulfilling work. If you enjoyed today's episode, let's connect on LinkedIn. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you found value here, share the podcast with your network. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review. It helps us inspire more leaders to join the movement. Until next time, let's take back Monday.